morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular podcast, Knowledge Empowers. And as always, with you is me, Kat. 안녕하세요. And we have Baruch.
Hello, hello, hello. And we don't have Kolach. Where's Kolach, Kat?
We don't have Kolach with us today. He has other very important and very responsible activities that he needs to focus on.
Yeah. So you need to wait for next episode to find out why.
But what if he will not share? Then what?
Then the episode after, maybe? I don't know.
Or the after? Or the after? We'll see. Today, we're going to talk about a sad event, but I do want to touch 3 emotions. One is sadness, one is anger, and a third one is
Frustration.
Correct. So maybe let's just first start what raised those 3 emotions. So last week, a horrific event happened in the streets of Bratislava where 2 guys were shot, which in my life never happened before. Also, we need to say to our listeners, we don't have access to guns like it's known, for example, in America. You need to get like license and you need to go through some exams and psychology tests and blah blah. So it's just not easy, and definitely you cannot buy a gun in a Tesco or in any grocery stores, let's say, right? This horrific event has been reclassified as a terrorist attack because it was aimed on the LGBTI plus people. It happened in front of a gay bar. And again, we're going to mention that me and Baruch went there numerous times because I have been delivering soft skills trainings. And we were there last time was September, right? So we do know the owner.
You've met one of those people that were shot, right, Kat?
Yeah, and on the last training when I was delivering, Matusz was working there as a part-time, and we talked, and funny enough that my Korean teacher also was his teacher because he had 1 semester of Korean. So we start talking about our teacher, very, very nice guy, very young guy, 23 years of age. That just has been shot, and I still just can't believe. And so that's just what happened, right? It's like 1 week now, and I will first start talking about the sad emotion. So the next day, I was not able to work or perform. I was able to sit behind the PC, but my brain was not able to, I don't want to say cope, but like really perform, like focus on work. And here I want to say, guys, that if such a horrific event happens, and it can be death in your family or members or anything, it's actually okay to take off. And I wrote my manager that I'm not able to concentrate, and I literally canceled all of my meetings or postponed them if I could. And I allowed myself to mourn because, and I even asked a philosophical question to my husband, like why did it happen? Like, what is the reason behind, and where does the hate coming from? Like, and I don't want to go into politics, but unfortunately, the current situation in Europe, if you look at, is currently really going through like a right-wing parties, and everyone is spreading hate. But to be honest, I just don't get it. Where is this coming from? Because we have a roof above of our heads. we have modern phones, we have cars, access to literally everything. It's just up to you what you want to achieve or how much you want to achieve, that I really just don't get where the hate is coming from.
But we could discuss this for a very long time, and I understand your sadness, Kat. And just to mention, you know a lot of people from LGBTI community, right? And so maybe you can share with us your observation. How was the reaction of the community and the people that you know from this community?
So right after it happened, my phone didn't stop buzzing for upcoming 24 hours. It was just like one ping after another. I'm not a person who then further shares information, but again, interestingly enough, I've been receiving information who died before it was even released officially out, or I received who was the shooter before it was even released. So I don't know why, whether it's the Slovakia is so small that we have among of our own people within Slovakia better CIA, let's say, than the police. But I just really couldn't believe how fast people have access to information and how fast they are spread out. The worst is that it was such an horrific event, and as I've mentioned in the beginning, it was reclassified to a terrorist attack. The whole community was shaken and is now scared. And then on Friday has been organized within 24 hours with all the approvals, the condemnation march against of the LGBTI plus hate crime. And we already know from the manifest that the murderer wrote that he didn't want to stop just with the LGBTI plus community. The next group supposed to be Jews and then some others. So one thing I'm really proud is that our president, and I would say she's the only politician that is fighting for the LGBTI plus rights since she was elected as a president, and she was ahead of the march up to the point that she went on a stage and she spoke to people. And I was surprised. It was for me, and Baruch, you went with me and or with us as well. It was my very first march that I went out, including my husband, you, and we already know that approximately 15,000 people came to the march. Now, again, from the measurements point of view, Slovakia is just 5 million people, so 15,000 is a huge number coming to for a march. And many other cities also did their own thing in the cities. But many people, even before, if they did not, let's say, directly supported the LGBTI plus community, they came to the streets because of it's ridiculous to kill another human being just because of you have maybe different sexual preferences, or you have different religion, or you have a religion, not even different, just religion, and so on and so forth. So people were like, let's say, angry that you are not supposed to kill another human being. That's just like off limits, and people came to the street. I was surprised of the numbers, and we saw it was huge.
It was.
So that's what was happening Thursday, Friday, and people are scared, to be honest. And I already have heard that those who wear anything rainbowish, like you can see those who are watching us on YouTube, you can see I have a rainbow flag, and I always have something rainbow on me when in a train, and were beaten just because they had rainbow flag or something. I honestly don't get where that hate is just simply coming. And we now know that we did lots of activism in this area these past 12 years. But we need to literally start like from scratch, and we need to start educating and start going to school, educate our police force, our politicians. Many people say that I have my own right to share my opinion.
Mhm.
That's true. But, and I'm gonna put BUT with the huge capital letters, but you need to be aware that if you share your opinion, there are consequences.
Exactly.
And especially if your opinion is sharing hoax or sharing hate, false information, there are consequences, and we have a law for that. And people think that's just my opinion. No, that's not your opinion. Go and educate yourself before you share hate. How would you feel if I would then, not me, any one of us would then come to you just for that particular part? I'm gonna say, don't spread hate, or then take the consequences for your opinion.
Mhm.
It's the same. We have our podcast, Knowledge Empowers, where we share the knowledge we've learned, and we are taking also responsibility for what we are sharing out there. We need to be responsible and accountable for those information as well.
Kat, listening to all of this, I wonder, like, if you are that educated person, what can you do if you see, for example, even online, if you see people that maybe don't know much about these diversity groups?
Mm-hmm. This is another aspect that ever since internet started, I remember when it started.
We are not old.
I remember. It has never been educated or even created, let's say, materials how you should behave on internet. And if we take Facebook as an example, and we know Facebook is a place of absolute hate. Literally, whatever you would open, there is just hate. There is nothing else. 1 week before the horrific event, I've been invited by the organization, which is called Organization of Parents and Friends of LGBTI plus people, to do a 3-hour workshop on critical thinking. And I have asked them to also share with me some case studies that happened to them, so I could really fine tune the training on exact things that happen. And one of that was, for example, that on Facebook, someone shared the hate. And my husband, who is a social media expert, actually stood up and also shared with the group of parents that don't reply, don't even go into those conversations, because first of all, you don't know who is behind the profile. Is it some robot? Is it some specific group of people that are, let's say, right-wing, or what we call Russiophiles or Russian feels, right? Russian lovers, or etc. So it's like taking one rabbit and you put the rabbit in the group of wolves. Mm-hmm. What will happen to the rabbit? He will die, because the wolves are like, right? That's the prey. Mm-hmm. There is literally 0 point for you to comment there, because that's a group of wolves will go against you. Mm-hmm. And you are only spending your time and energy. You could use that time for something else. So that's what I'm saying. No one is educating on social media. Instead of, what you can do is you can start reporting those accounts or those comments. And then once Facebook starts receiving these reportings, they will start blocking those people.
Kat, you mentioned like we should, or people should educate themselves to be more accepting of different kinds of people. But if I block a person online for their opinions, do you think that will help to those people that are spreading hate?
No.
I don't want to say that we should treat them like gently, but at the same time, what else could we do?
Again, in social media, you don't know who is behind that particular profile, right? If it's, let's say like this, what you just mentioned, if it's someone I know, let's say it's you, then what I would do is, because I know you, I would pick up a phone, call you, and would say, hey, Baruch, let's go for coffee. And then I would ask you about your opinion, because I want to show you I listen, and I want to understand what's behind of your opinion, or what's behind of the knowledge you have. And because I gave you that option for you to talk and me to listen, I would ask you, would you be willing now to listen me? And then I would explain you the whole background. And maybe even before I would start explaining you the background, I would then ask you, based on what is your opinion created? Do you have any facts? Did you actually went through your personal experience that either that hate or whatever is coming from, or the opinion? But if you will ask most of these people, they are sharing opinion of someone else, but they don't have any own experience. Nothing ever happened to them like that, etc. And then when you start sharing with them your personal stories and what kind of consequences it has, what they put there, then they are realizing, oh my God, if they are smart, they will realize it, like, oh my God, I don't want to be that kind of human being. But on social media, you really don't know who is behind. Therefore, you should start reporting until that particular profile would be blocked, or that particular comment would be blocked. It's the same when I look at, for example, police of Slovak Republic or police of Bratislava. They literally leave all comments. Now, I don't know whether it's on purpose so they can monitor people. And again, I've said there are consequences. If the admin would have a proper training, the admin would learn and know that needs to start deleting all of those hate comments. Because that's the way how those people would learn. Oh, it's the same way that if I am in pub and I start screaming at someone, then someone comes to me and slaps me. How come the same person goes online and start doing this thing? Because it's anonymous and there is no one who slaps me. But that's the job of the admin that should start deleting all of those to teach people no one is interested in your hate bullshit. If you have some, let's say, wisdom to share or knowledge, or maybe you were a witness, yes. But if it's just a hate and just really a bullshit, no. But all admins on any specific, let's say, in Facebook is called fan page. So let's say either it's a company, etc. That should be their job. But they are not even aware this is what they should do. And no one is teaching this at school as well, which comes to frustration, which is the third emotions, right? So we went through the anger, we went through the sadness, and now it's the frustration. And that's why I need to say, honestly, guys, as soon as you feel, or it's in you, and you feel fear, you feel hate, you feel anger, please, before you act on it, or you will start sharing your opinion, please go and search for information, but not on Facebook, not in the groups you are interested in, because Facebook already has algorithms that will only share with you information, same type of information your interests are. You need to go, I don't know, CNN pages, Spectator in Slovakia, maybe Denik, and I don't know, there are just so many. I, for example, follow the journalist Vladimir Schnidl. He every time he explains if there is an hoax, he explains details behind it. He's doing it also through like an educative form. For example, he just shared how proper media should share information if there is a terrorist attack. Because also our journalists were never trained on this because it never happened here. And I'm not talking about tabloid media. I'm really talking about proper news media. And one of the steps, there was like a written manual, right? And one of them was, do not share explicit pictures. For example, one of our tabloid media shared explicit pictures, and especially if you know the person who was shot, I just started crying like a small baby because it was horrific. It's like it was literally the same effect when my mom died, or when any of your very close family members, siblings, it had the same effect. And it was just simply horrific.
What would you suggest for everyone who would like to help, what we can do for LGBTI community or any diversity group?
I would say, please don't wait that someone would come to you and ask you for help. Why? Put yourself literally when someone died in your family, how you felt. You are in such an emotions that you will not reach out to anyone for help. But you can be the one that if you have a member of a LGBTI plus community or any diversity group in your network, be the one and you go pick up the phone or write a message. How do you feel? Do you feel okay? Are you safe? Is there anything I can help you with? So if I take Roman, the owner of Teplare, I knew that he will not pick up the phone because everyone was just like on him. So I just wrote him, if there is anything I can help you with, please let me know and I'll come. If it's cleaning or do the dishes, I'll just come, right? So you can offer the help. Also, currently there is donations, collection of money that you can donate, and the money will be used for the family of the victims, also for Roman, plus for all the activism and literally all LGBTI plus organization, communities, NGOs grouped together and are now putting all of the sources together and are creating a work of activities. What should we do now? And part of those money will be used for that as well. We already see many people are trying to help. Many people reached out. So that's what you can offer. If you are, let's say, skillful, maybe in law or administration, maybe you have some IT skills, you can contact Inakos or even myself, and I can then reconnect you there to help out. You are good with finances or communication skills, let us know. I know that this wasn't the traditional podcast, guys, you normally listen, but this situation was really so horrific, and the emotions that we went through, especially community is so small, literally we know each other. We had the need to share as well. So I'm just gonna summarize quickly. Please don't spread hate or hashtag say no to hate. educate yourselves, guys. Be better to one another. That's what makes us human. And with that, I'm gonna say 수고하셨습니다. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Kat, for sharing. Bye-bye. This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.